Hello again, everyone. Dave Benson here, Principal Advisor for the Center for Personal Protection and Safety, CPPS. I want to spend a few minutes kind of either introducing you or reintroducing you, reminding you of the different operational models that we at the Center teach and promote for our clients in the areas of behavioral threat assessment and management. And just to kind of recap, your threat management team should be one of the core functions of a comprehensive workplace violence prevention and intervention policy. It should not be some separate entity that's reached out to on occasion. It needs to be totally ingrained in the overall product of receiving information, reporting that information, assessing the likelihood of violence, and then coming up with a mitigation strategy, which is just another way of saying, what are we going to do about this potential threat, whether it be within the organization or an external threat that poses a potential threat to the organization or up in the C-suite. I want to remind you all that properly trained behavioral threat assessment and management teams have all the tools they need to handle all types of threats within the organization, to include potential executive ones. I get this question a lot, and it's not a separate thing that you need to do. It's just a matter of focusing on where the particular concern is and the threat. And so the models that we're going to look at today are the centralized model, the satellite model, and the regional model. So let's talk a little about what the difference is. They're all trained the same way. Now, the extent of training and how far that is carried out within the organization can differ a little bit when we're talking about the different model. So as you might imagine, the more traditional one of a threat management team model is the central located one within their organizational headquarters, or the region where they really perform most of those executive functions. They can be generally smaller, and they do represent pretty much every business unit within the organization. It's like an accordion effect. You bring in your key people: legal, facilities, internal communications, human resources, security, and then you bring in other folks as needed, and you determine if you need additional training, more of a threat awareness type training as opposed to a full-blown BTAM course. The next model is the satellite model. It's particularly useful for those organizations. I have a lot of clients in the retail industry that use this. They have campuses, they have buildings and organizations throughout the country, and in some cases outside of the continental United States. It's an effective model as well internationally, so long as everybody is trained appropriately. And so while they do a great service and they provide a lot of the initial triage, they are totally and completely subordinate to the mothership, in other words, to the central. So you basically have the central team, and then if needs, you add on that satellite model that maybe you have a southeastern region where you have people that have received some of the comprehensive training to understand what we're looking for, what to report, who to report, how to report that as appropriate in the model. But nonetheless, everything is ultimately shared with that mothership. So that's the satellite model. The final one is the regional model. It's not as popular, not because it's not effective, but because it's more of a loose confederation. I do have some clients that have basically mini threat management teams all over the country or all around the world. And so they are authorized to be able to do the same work that a centralized threat management team would be. It doesn't mean that they don't communicate with them. It just means that they're not subordinate to them. And so whether you have the headquarters model, the central model, if you will, the satellite model, or the regional model, the hard work, professional structure judgment approach to behavioral threat assessment and management does not change. It's just the width and the breadth, if you will, of who else needs to be involved in that process. It is all part of our professional structure judgment approach, which is best practice. You've heard me talk about this a bunch of times. If you're one of my students, or clients, you know what I'm referring to. We go through the exact same work. It just matters who exactly gets the initial information. In a satellite model, they may triage it in the region and then follow up with headquarters, whereas in a headquarters model or the centralized model, they're going to go ahead and handle most of that work and then pass out the taskers as we do. And again, finally, although not as frequently used, the model of the regional model, which means you actually have, for lack of a better term, like teams at whatever each region. Like you may have I have one client that has a Pacific Rim, in Europe, Central and South America, and then also North America. So these are all great models. The big difference is you have to understand what the roles and responsibilities are and make sure that they don't fall through the cracks. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us at info@cpps.com. Reach out to me personally at dave.benson@cpps.com. And I hope you found this useful, and I hope you are either currently employing one of these models or in the process of building your team to do so. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.